This is Ponder Darling My Busted Heart, and this video is on moving on from the narcissist. And I'm making this video because I have watched a ton of videos recently of people that I respect who have been very helpful to me, but who are saying, you know, you just move on, and there is something a little bit shaming about it. And so I wanted to address that and say, moving on is not an event. It is a process. It takes time, a lot of time. And if you think you can just be like, oh, I'm done, I'm moving on now, what's generally going to happen is that even if you move on from that person, you're going to end up with another one, and you don't want to do that. So take this opportunity, really take this opportunity to process all of this and to get to a higher ground, a better place, where you're not perpetuating the relationships with narcissists. I know this from my experience. I will tell you, I have been in 5 long-term relationships. Every single one has been cluster B. 3 of them were physically abusive. I, even as I've shared, had a child with a psychopath. And, you know, it takes a lot of work to break that pattern, and commitment. You have to be really committed. So if you are trying to process, wherever you are in your processing, don't let anybody shame you or tell you that you need to get over it, because it takes time. It just takes time. And you are worth that time. You are worth taking that time. So also, I think that, you know, there's a lot of shaming of people who are just really needing to talk about what happened. Again, I think a lot of that comes from people who just are either in denial, or they just don't know what it feels like to have been discarded by a narcissist. And I know this last time, being discarded by somebody I did not know was a narcissist, I went through this period of time where I was like, what just happened? What in the hell just happened? How did this happen? I did not see this coming. And it's really important to take some time to really process it and talk about it. And also to, you know, kind of look into the patterns and really like understand that this person that that you were in love with didn't really exist. And that takes a lot. It takes a lot to understand that. It doesn't just happen where you're like, he wasn't what that wasn't what I thought he was. Bye. I'm just going to move on. No, it doesn't work that way. Sorry. You know, if like me, you're an external processor and you need to talk about it, if you need to talk to everybody who comes within 10 feet of you about what happened, do it. Don't be ashamed. If you, like me, have to make a YouTube channel about it, make a YouTube channel about it. Don't let people shame you and say, oh, you're just bitching. Of course you're bitching. It's okay. It's all right to bitch. Bitching is therapeutic. Now, it is true that you can't stay there. You cannot stay in the bitching phase. If you're 1 month out of the discard and you're bitching, that's healthy. If you're like a year, 2 years out of the discard and you're still bitching, there's something you're not seeing, you're not looking at. You do need to go beyond the bitching, but I maintain that it is an important phase. So bitch away. And also research away. Like, but again, you know, you will get to a point, or should get to a point, if you're doing it right, where you've done enough research, where you realize enough of what happened that you don't need desperately to figure it out, because you figured it out. So it gets to a point where you know, you replace your addiction to that person with the addiction of figuring it out, and that's a dangerous place to be. You need to give yourself a time limit on how much research you're going to do, or give yourself parameters. The next thing is that, and this is one, I'm going to be completely honest. This was hard for me, but it is essential. It is the number one essential thing that you have to do if you're going to recover from a narcissist and move on. You have to go no contact. You have to. And like I said, for me, it was super hard, because a lot of times, I would say 99 times out of 100, we have an addiction to the narcissist. We are addicted to them. And so you have to go cold turkey. You can't keep contacting them. And it is really hard. It's hard. And as I said in another video, I haven't done it perfectly. So I'll be one to admit, you can't. Sometimes it's going to be really, really challenging, but you got to keep trying, because what happens is, if you don't do the no contact, you're going to keep re-engaging with them, and you're never going to get away, and you're never going to heal. No contact is really important for healing. And I've been lucky. Jefferson has completely cut me off, and he ignores me, and won't, you know, the time that I did break no contact, he didn't respond to me, which was a blessing. But that's rare. Usually narcissists will be absolutely happy to engage with you, because it gives them supply, and then you're right back in it, and you'll never heal. So no contact, zero contact. And then, you know, the next thing, and a lot of people don't get to this place, and here is why you get stuck in the bitching and researching. You got to figure out your part. What was your part? We are grown-ass people, okay? I'm a grown-ass woman. I make my own choices. I made choices. I'm not a victim, you know, and that's really, really hard sometimes, when you feel like you've been completely victimized by this person and they've done a lot of damage to you. It's hard for you to look at it and say, oh, you know what? I had a part in this, you know, I let this happen. You know, I'm a grown-ass woman, and I made choices, and I let this person into my life, and I believed my own lies. So you do really need to take a look at your own part in it, and what made you want to have a relationship. Because, I mean, the truth of the matter is, if you really look at it, the writing's on the wall from very early on. You may not have realized it at the time. You may not have noticed it, or you may not have wanted to notice it, but it was there. So it is really important to stop and go, why did I ignore it? Why did I ignore this person's behavior and end up completely attached to this person who can't really love me? It is a choice. You don't, I mean, nobody puts a gun to your head. You are the one that entered into this relationship with that person. And you need to figure out why, because if you don't, guess what? You're going to get back with them, or you're going to end up with another person, just like that. And that has happened to me. And so if my saying this can help you not have that happen to you, I will be one happy lady. So address your part. Look at your own part. See, what you did, why you did it. And then once you realize that, how you ended up with somebody like this, then that in itself is empowering, but then you are putting yourself on the path of empowering yourself. And empowering yourself to heal involves 3 things. The first one is finding help. You can't just, sit in your hole and do it all by yourself. You need help. We are a social animal. We can't do this by ourselves. We have to get professional help. If you can afford it, there are, specifically people out there, coaches who specialize in this stuff. I would definitely encourage you to do that if you can afford it. Personally, Jefferson left me completely destitute, so I needed free stuff. But there is free stuff. There's really good free stuff that will help you. You just need to find it. And I am going to post some links down below that helped me, and hopefully they can help you. Also, along with that, getting help, you need to get a tribe. You need people around you, not just one therapist, but a group of people around you that are going to love you and validate you for exactly who you are. Because this experience is very isolating. And again, because I had no money, I had to find things that were free. And so I have said in another video, 12 steps. I'm a big lover of the 12-step groups. We're, and I believe, people are like, oh, well, that's for addicts. Well, you know what? Let's be real. We're all addicts. All of us are addicted to something. In fact, if you're not addicted to anything else, like I said, 99 times out of 100, you were addicted to that person, and that's how they were able to get their hooks in you. And there is a 12-step group for love addicts. Look it up, Google it, find it, go to it. There's all sorts of other ones too, though. So whatever it is, you can find a 12-step group, and they're generally pretty non-judgmental and accepting of you wherever you are and whatever has happened in your life. And if they're not, find another one. I mean, I've never been to one that is not really accepting and loving. So I don't, don't stick around if you don't feel accepted and loved, because that's the whole point. That's the whole purpose. Also, the process itself, the process of the 12 steps, is very healing and will help you in, empowering yourself, and also figuring out what your part was in it, because it's about a kind of accountability. And then the other thing that's really, really important in empowering yourself is learning self-care. Because I heard in this one webinar, and it's so true, you only let people treat you as badly as you treat yourself. Let that sink in. You only allow people to treat you as badly as you treat yourself. So if you treat yourself well, you won't allow people to treat you the way a narcissist will treat you. You won't allow it. You will walk away naturally. It won't even be hard if you really care about yourself and you know how to love yourself. So, and there's, lots of amazing self-love systems out there. I know when my therapist first suggested to me, so how about some self-love? I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. What the hell is that? But take some time to learn what it means and to practice it. Practice it. It's a practice. You have to learn the habit. Because if you just are like, I'm going to love myself, then you'll find, and then you don't do anything about it, you'll find that eventually you are back to hating yourself. So take some time to really do it and make it a habit in your life. And it will change your life. And then, of course, the last thing is striving toward better relationships. I mean, you don't want to have relationships with people like this. You have to get to a point. You can't move on until you get to a point where you're like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. You really have to have a conviction about it. And once you do, again, just like the self-love thing, there are some amazing systems on the internet to learn how to have healthy relationships. So, like I said, it is not an event. It is a process. You can't just say, I'm done. Trust me when I say this, because I think I've lost count of the times I'm like, I'm done, moving on. And then the next day I'm like, whoops, no, I'm not. I didn't. Dang it! And then I have to work harder, or again, to go back over it. I mean, it can be exasperating, but you know what? At the end, when you get through it, you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, I have made these amazing changes. I am a better person. I have a better life. And it really will happen if you just do the work. That's what I got. Thanks.